Hey guys, welcome back to CN Silver Creek subdivision. This is the layout update for December and a little bit of November, January, I guess. Lots has happened. We just can't see what's happened this time. There's no big rebuilds, no new lumber put in. Some new switches to show you, and a lot of progress underneath the table. And that's why I have you at this screen right here. Block detection. It's in. It's working. It's good. All the way from Wellington, right here, and then all the way to Perth. And Perth being the east end of the Silver Creek sub, and Wellington being the west end. In between those two ends is the staging yard, but we don't use it for like run through. It's not it's continuous running if you want it to be, but we use it for east to west here. Anyway, all the BD20s are in. The last two replacements have been done, which is Beaverton. That says here on part, but we're going to change that to Fairview. That's the name of the little spur we got now. So, but she's all in. Switches all through. Everything works the way it's supposed to. Signal logic is something that we started. Another guy's is taking that on. So we're starting to write our own signals for as far as indications go. So that's going to put everything exactly the way it's supposed to be on Canadian National for CROR rules. So that's good stuff there. This is the only part of the video I'm doing a voiceover on. So we'll see how long I have to just keep talking to fill in the blanks before he changes to the next clip. Hey guys, so here's the signals on the Helix. I can see it in the video, the 60 FPS. They don't flash like that in real life. And part in the background music, there's a old folks dance party happening downstairs here at the arena. Anyway, so these are in. We didn't know what to do with this, really. I didn't really want to stuff masts into the Helix itself. It just would have been a pain in the butt. So we came up with these acrylic aluminum material that everybody's dad got from work, and we cut them down to these little rectangular shapes, and then put the proper LEDs in. So the cuts are right behind the lights. So I don't know if I can zoom in enough here to see it. Maybe. Oh, can you see it in there? Yeah, there's a gap. There it is. So when the train goes by, it drops the light like it should, like from this way. So that was a big deal to wire this all up. So, but it joined up the CTC from the upper level through the Helix, and then all the way down to Maisie, which you guys have seen before, right? Maisie was on the last video, so it's all in and wired up. And that's as far as the lights go for now. The next set will be down there at Beaverton. The last update, I think it was part 2 of the last update, was Beaverton back in. So that was a big deal with the rebuild, and the tortoises are all in, and our block detection was all in up to right here. So I've made some more progress here around the curve at Beaverton, or around the curve to Beaverton, and over here Beaverton is now rebuilt as well. So block detection is done on the whole layout now, all the way around, all the mains, the yard, so forth, where it needs to be, as well as Beaverton West here. So Beaverton West was relayed. I did a couple switches in the yard as well in the ladder here, code 83s from Walthers. And this was all ripped out and laid back in again. The tortoises are in, the block detection's in. So that was a bit of work. Same for the east end of Beaverton is here well too. So here we are, there's Beaverton East. It was all done as well. So from right there up, tortoises are in and the block detection's in, and she's awaiting signals. What else can I tell you? That took a lot more than just a couple seconds on the video camera to accomplish, so that's all done. Ripped out the plastic track that was in here. You guys probably never saw it. I just did this today, but it held 3 plastic cars, and now that we're starting to move towards scenery, it was too tight, obviously. This would have been, I know I used photo backdrops and tried to blend it in, but This was, the edge of the track was there, so not enough for what I wanted to do. So it got moved over here. This used to be the cement plant, but we're not going to do a cement plant anymore. We're going to do a cement offload. So loaded cement cars into storage, and then trucks take it out to wherever it has to go. So this is going to become an auto port. It's going to have 4 tracks. It's going to have 4 tracks off this lead here, off the Y. You have the east leg of the Y that runs up to Oak and ties in. And then you have the west leg of the Y here. That ties back into the South Main just before Beaverton. So off this switch here, 4 long straight tracks. An auto port, from my understanding, from what I've seen it work, is just like a giant transload for automobiles. So it's not owned by like one car manufacturer. It's used to build combined loads or offload cars or transport automobiles across the country to compounds. So it's pretty easy to model in regards. It's just a chain to secure, or chain link fence secured compound with a little security gate, and then lots of cars all over the place. So 4 tracks wide from here, 10 autos each, capacity of 40 autos, which should take up to, well, you can see there's 3 tracks there now. So 4th track width will be, yeah, I guess right about in there somewhere, right up there, something like that. So we're gonna have this all over here for open, we'll have a road down here and put all the paint markings on it for cars to go around. And then I'm gonna fill in that square that's missing. That was going to be a quarry when it was a cement plant, but that wasn't, you just can't model it realistically. So I didn't want to bite off more than we can chew, or end up with something that looks out of scale and toyish, especially after that branch line rebuild. So that's that. So this will be empty. I'm not sure how we're gonna incorporate this little plastic scene here, but you know, a welder's kit in a truck and a couple cars, and it doesn't take much to have something happening. So I'm gonna try and squeeze him in here, in this space, this empty void space. So that's that. And now we'll move on to the next thing. In the interim, we're going to, this is the staging yard. So I've never really done a layout tour with you guys. I'm going to throw a GoPro on a flat car here and do a layout tour that way. We'll follow H55, which is the CP oil train. It runs from Callio, which will eventually be a secondary track that comes off of this track when we do the staging rebuild. So we're gonna rip this all out next fall and put a Y in here, and then build a balloon track that goes out and around the like the center wall, all the way down, and then around the end, and then comes back for just for a couple unit trains or whatever. But when we do that, we're gonna split this yard into 2 sides. There's gonna be a CP side and then a CN side. So we don't, I think 40% of our traffic on the layout goes to CP or interchange through CP. So it won't be as big as the CN side, but these yards will be isolated. So you're going to have 2 tracks that comes there, and then up the helix will be 2 tracks to the control location called Callio. I should have showed it to you guys when I was over there, but we threw a switch in on the helix, and it's obviously just from 1 track to 2 tracks. So that will be where CP comes on to CN, but that's a ways down the road still, so I'm not gonna waste too much time on that. But this as well, so more of those helix signals. So this is a control point. In the US, a control point is a controlled location in Canada, where you have whatever 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks, power switches governed by signals. That's a controlled location in Canada. In Canada, we have control points like this, and all that is opposing absolute signals that govern a piece of track. So that's our control point, where I marked up those ties. CN Perth. So you just need a signal to get past or get in. That's basically all that is. So that's that part. More signals went on. Hey guys, so here, I went back here to, this is kind of important. It's kind of convoluted the way I left the comments on the staging yard rebuild down there. So without knowing what I'm talking about, it's hard to depict what's happening. So this is Callio, controlled location of Callio. So that's 408. That's a signal heading east, obviously, even east. And these are the other two governing. So that's the other two tracks of Calio. So what this loose piece of track is right here, it's gonna go that way, down the helix. Did I get those backwards? No, we're eastbound to Perth. Okay. When I came up with all these signal numbers, it was kind of convoluted, and I did it on my computer without being up here at home. So it was, but no, I got them right. Anywho, part of my ADHD. So that switch that's right there, we put a Pico one in there. I didn't actually, our newest member did, and he did a really good job on it. I've run probably 30 trains over here, like big 80 car trains with DPUs, and nothing's derailed or anything. So that is Calio, the switch at Calio. This is heading down the helix towards Perth, which is eastbound. That's gonna split into two tracks. And let me zoom out here so I don't make everybody sick. It'll be two tracks here, right, heading down. And then, as I was talking about before, you can see staging right through here. So there'll be two tracks coming down there. And that the track to the right, which is kind of where that one is right now, will be the CP side of staging. And then the CN side of staging will come up here, and it'll be the same track that it is right now. So CP will be to the outside, it'll come up, and then this is where Canadian Pacific is going to start its running rights on the Silver Creek sub at Calio here. So heading up, that'll take you around the rest of the layout. I hope that makes sense. I know it's hard to picture, but I am going to go make a layout tour video on a GoPro right after I'm done this. So hopefully that'll straighten it out. But there you go, CP Calio. All right, and down here is the control point Wellington. And it's that mark right there too. So the signals that we made for that are still in this box here. But when I get a second, it'll go, those signals will go right here too, representing the end, or the westmost terminus of the Silver Creek sub. And that is that I showed you down there is the east end. So that's our point-to-point running from Perth to Wellington, and then the staging yard actually connects it, but we don't run it like it's through stuff. So that's that. What else happened? Oh, block detection, right? Block detection's in on the whole layout. So it starts here, or ends here, whatever. The westmost end of block detection is Wellington. The staging yard we didn't do because, like I said, next fall we're gonna rip this all out and do a huge rebuild on it. So I didn't think it was worth the time to block detect it or put tortoises in here when we were going to rip it out later. So, but from there all the way around the layout to over here is all block detection. So the next big thing will be resistor wheel sets on all of these 600 cars that we have here. So we're starting to work on that. What else can I show you? Oh, right. So in the last layout update video, you saw auto racks over here. Autos are a strange thing. They need lots of space to look to scale, and it wasn't going to work over here. We tried. We wanted to try and build like a huge building along the back to try and show like an auto manufacturer of some sort, but it just wasn't going to happen. So the cement plant came over here, but now it's not a cement plant, it's just a cement offload. So we ripped the tracks out, I guess, and then I just used what was there for right now. I'm not going to move the tracks around until I get a photo backdrop in here that'll try to depict the scene, I guess. I don't want to lay the track for what I think is going to happen, and then a photo backdrop shows up, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't work, and you have to rip it back out. So, but this means that the track plan is almost final. So I just took all the stuff I had over there and kind of put it into a scene. That's all. They're all pressure flow hoppers, so there'll be a piping system of some sort where these guys get offloaded, goes underground. I'll add some stuff onto my little kit bashed Walther's kit here I've done over the last year or so, and then try to paint that story. So yeah, lots of work happening, just not a lot of progress to show, I guess. And then there's this track. Our newest member, he likes dimensional loads and things like that, like this. He did the boats. He wanted the heavy track here for all those really cool dimensional stuff and the big boilers or transformers. So he has an affliction, I guess, or an affliction for weird loads that don't come in hoppers, that come in flat cars and such things. So he's big into these telephone poles. So I put this track in for him today. It'll hold 4 of these guys, I guess. And this is the little place or town, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be called Fairview. Just a fictionary name that sounds like a small town little thing that has a couple rail serve industries. So there'll be a road that comes off the layout starting here, and then through here, up around, and then it's going to come back off here and just disappear off the table. And there'll be a little tiny dirt trail here that the truck can pull up and load him onto his truck off the railway car, like the prototype in Guelph, Ontario. So I think that's it, guys. Yeah, I mean, switch 8s are all in. That's what that guy is floating around there. AIA 1s are all in. Moved the proto throttle thing over here. Finished up some wiring, cleaned up some bus lines, but that's about it for this one. I don't have much else to do in terms of CTC. Oh, I do have to replace these 2 switches. Yep, the propane switch needs to be replaced with the Walthers, and so does the west leg of the Y, and then they need silly weight, blue points put on there, so that when you flip them back and forth, it drops the block, just like having an occupancy from a locomotive or such. So that's about it, guys. This was the layout update for December, I guess we'll call it. It is January a little bit, but not that much. So that's all for this one, guys. As always, thanks for following. Thanks for the amount of views and all that stuff. It's just crazy what's happening with this channel. So we'll try to keep going strong and keep giving you guys things to look at and comment on and ask questions and talk about stuff, because I really enjoy that on the feed. So yeah, all for this one, guys. Cheers and happy modeling.